It's my big pleasure to introduce you to a very important friend of DLD and DLD women. I welcome on stage now our very first speaker, Viviane Reding. She is the DLD Women co-chairwoman and the EU Commissioner for Justice, Fundamental Rights and Citizenship. Viviane has been connected with DLD for many, many years now. I think it's her fifth time on the DLD stage, and the second time as DLD co-chairwoman. And I'm all the more pleased to have her speak at DLD Women again. Viviane has set her marks in Europe with many, many topics, always fighting to protect our rights, our freedom. And right now, she has very relevant things to say about data security policy. Viviane, come on stage.
I'm such a lucky woman because I know so many wonderful women. And it is, in the end, all about passion. You have heard Steffi with her strong ideas in order to get DLD working, in order to bring all of us around here. And you have seen her yesterday night, this morning, how she says, oh, you have to meet her, you have to meet him. I mean, bringing people together with passion. Thank you, Steffi, for all this. And you just have heard Maria. You might have seen her on TV, you might have seen her in the cinema, the film, but have you ever seen what a gorgeous, passionate, dedicated, talented woman she is? I mean, we're proud of you, Maria, and thank you for having taken the share of this very important meeting. And then Ursula, she's going to come afterward. But you see, sometimes when you are a politician, you might have an idea, but in order to put this idea in practice, you need passionate co-fighters. And I had Ursula for the Women on Board. And together we are an unbeatable team. I will speak to you later about this. But I wanted to start my intervention today by saying thank you to Katja. This wonderful pianist, and those of you who have not been in the room have punished themselves when she started our DLD Women with a stunning talent, sheer beauty, and appealing personality. Now that is a woman, and I think that is a symbol of what we would all be, and we are all somehow a Katja. So thank you, Katja, for starting it. Well, you have understood already, I am happy to be here. And I am very glad about the opportunity again with you to break new ground together. And DLD for me has, since the time I come here, always been a wonderful opportunity to break new ground. And some of you might recall that it was in DLD that I presented my first ideas, first on data protection some years ago, and then on Women on Board shortly ago. And those two initiatives are very important because it is mainly women who have understood their importance. I'm coming back to this one also, because you need not only to have an idea, you need also to have the sensitivity to understand how this idea integrates in society, and then you have to have the passion to get it done. These two ideas, data protection and women in top-level decision-making, are the breaking the silence for me, because breaking the silence, this silence which was around heavy on all of us. Don't speak about certain things. Women in top-level management, but who cares? Well, we do care, and the economy cares. And that is why I'm so glad that we have so many male core fighters now who have understood that our economy cannot thrive without female talent on board. And I'm so glad also that on this very delicate question on how to bring together the free internet, the development of the internet, with the protection of the individual. And those are not contradictory, they really go together. Men didn't understand it, you needed women to come in order to get this done. Now you know that data protection in Europe, and I say that for our friends who are coming from outside of Europe, data protection in Europe is a fundamental right. And maybe because of our history of dictatorships, of fighting strong powers, this data protection, the protection of the personal belonging of the individuum has been inscribed in our fundamental laws and in our treaties. So important that is for Europeans. Because we do not want the Secret Service to listen to every phone call we make, to read every email we write. So for us, national security and the protection of our personal belongings go hand in hand. We Europeans think we have the right to decide ourselves when we give something out or when we retain something of our data. And we believe that if for security reasons somebody has to grab our data, then this has to be done on the basis of law. It has to be done to protect our security. It has to be done on the basis of law. And that is the reason why, in a DLD conference, in January last year, I presented what will be the new law on data protection. So I announced it, Hubert, in your DLD conference, the new data protection rules. And how right I was has been shown now by the PRISM affair, by the spying affairs. They have shown that, yes, we need to have rules, and how happy I was yesterday evening when another strong woman, Angela Merkel, in her summer interview said that, yes, we will make our data protection rule strongly in Europe. It was a wake-up call thanks to the Americans. We wouldn't have managed to do it thanks to the Americans, thanks to PRISM. We're going to do it, and I count on Angela Merkel to get it done. Yes, we will. And it is, interestingly, also in the German government, it is the women who go for it. Cross-party, by the way, who wanted to have understood that the only way to continue here is to get strong rules. Because, you see, strong rules allow trust. And in the internet world, without trust, you cannot go ahead. It is essential, and if you lose this trust, people will retain their data. They will not give them out. But data are the bloodstream of the new internet world. You need them in order to work. So we have to reconstruct the trust that you handle this data in the way which is acceptable. And here is a very big potential. Big data is big business, potentially, only if the trust of the consumers comes back. And here is where the politicians come in, because we have to make the rules which allow, on the one side, the internet to be completely free, and on the other side, the citizen to be completely confident that his own freedom also will be preserved. So what is in this text? First, territoriality. This Europe is one continent. This continent needs one rule, and everybody who utilizes this continent and addresses himself to one of our citizens applies the European rules. Full stop. No discussion about this. Second, the definition of personal data, which should include metadata. It does not mean just emails and phone calls. It also means the information on where something was sent from and where somebody is talking at that moment. Third, it has to include the processes, such as cloud computing, because as the PRISM scandal has shown, they represent an avenue for those who want to access data. And third, by the way, 2 days before, there was a poll by Comscore which underlines this fact. Comscore has analyzed the German SMEs, and they do not trust cloud computing. 57% of them say they do not want to give out their data because this is not secure. So we need a legal framework here to give them the security so that cloud computing can fly. And finally, we must have safeguards against the unfettered international transfer of data. The rules must ensure that the data of EU citizens are transferred to non-European law enforcement authority only on the basis of a commonly agreed law. And that brings me to the definition. Data protection and national security are not enemies, they are balanced interest. And here I come back to the fact that it is at a European-wide level, mainly the female politicians who have understood the importance of this, because they do not only do power games, they bring the real power in, and the real power are our citizens. When finally will all politicians, also the male ones, understand this? And that is why I am so happy because of what Angela Merkel said yesterday. That will permit us to break through for a free internet which thrives on confidence, confidence which needs protection. Protection is such the basis and the enabler of freedom, and politicians have to take their responsibility in order to restore confidence. Last year, I was standing in front of you at the DLD Women, and I was telling to you that actually we have waited too long. We have waited too long to bring women in at the top. 60% of us are university graduates. At the moment I spoke to you, 12% were sitting on the top boards of our companies. That is not a real equilibrium. And I had understood that the only way to get it done, the only way to break through the glass ceiling was to put a legislation on the table. And what has happened? Well, first, an uproar of horror. All the males in the top-level decision-making in the economy said that was a complete breakdown of our economy. They are going to be bankrupt. Since that moment, things have become better, because now they start to think. First they were shouting, now they start to think, and they start to read what is on the paper. It's always good to read what is on the paper before you start to speak about what you think is on the paper. Huh? So now they have read that now the European rules which are proposed are not about strict quotas. No woman will become member of a board because she is a woman. But no woman will be denied in future to be member of a board because she is a woman. And since we put the law on the table, you know what has happened? A real rush to find the female talent. And it seems that this female talent exists. Another surprise, another surprise. Remember last year in DLD Women, there was a wonderful lady who was speaking together with me. We made a real duo, like Steffi and Maria have done before, two friends speaking together, an American, a European. Candace Johnson, the satellite lady, the one has developed satellite business worldwide. Well, she brought together the big business schools. It all started with the business schools of France and of Great Britain to unite forces to give out the CVs of their women, their graduates, who have years' experience in management. And you know what this has provoked? A worldwide tsunami. Today we have 170 business schools of 70 countries in the world which have united forces and presented a searchable database with 8,000 CVs of women who are board ready, who have all the capacities to be put on the board from day one. So the talent is there is no more excuse, and the talent will help our economy to thrive. But it is not enough that we do the business school initiative, Candace, that we do the political initiative, Ursula. By the way, Ursula, it was gorgeous to bring together with your co-fighters in the CDU, CSU, the party to put women on board, quotas in the party program. Well done, Ursula, well done. But you see, what I have experienced with this women on board thing, which was very painful at a political level, was this wonderful solidarity in the women, with the women. I always hear women are not capable of solidarity, they are going against the other women. That might have been true 10 years ago, it is not true anymore today. I have seen for the women on board, not only at the political level, all political parties all over Europe, an enormous solidarity. I have seen the solidarity in a professional level, the journalists, the female journalists joining forces, the DLD community, the professional networks. They were all coming together in order to help with some results, And I tell you here today, we are going to have transparent selection processes for finding the best talent, also the female one, to put on a board. Because the initiatives to make the law fail in the beginning were a failure. Because in the Council of Ministers and in the European Parliament, which are the co-legislators, there is a huge majority for the rules. In the Parliament, an overwhelming majority, all benches, and even the Parliament wants to have stronger rules. In the Council, a small majority, which I hope very soon will become a big one. So I can tell you very clearly, yes, we will get it, our European-wide rule for women on board. And the good news is, those who try to kill it beforehand or afterwards are a minority. Well, you will hear a lot about this minority. It is very loud. But we know it is not the ones who shout best that get the best results. Because let the ones shout, the others are doing. And we are going to do, we will get. And if I see the potential in this room, I know why we are fighting. I know it is worth it. And I know very clearly, dear Ursula, dear Steffi, dear Maria, it has been done here. It has been starting here. And next year when I come here, I will tell you, it's done.